From a marketing perspective right now, I mean, like, on the ad agency side, a lot of people reach out and they're like, we want Web3 marketing, right? And I'm like, what do you mean, right? So I think marketing is going to be shifting, right? Like we look at the iOS changes last year, like they're not going to be easy mode anymore. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to crank out some Facebook ads and then just let the algorithm run. It's a lot more sophisticated now. And I think what you guys are doing is how you guys have grown it's pretty impressive, right? So, growth team obviously doesn't just encompass marketing, but there's probably designers and developers as well. So my first question would be, you running a growth team, how is that team structured? We'll just start there.
So I think a lot of the expansion strategy is it doesn't perfectly align, or it's quite different from how traditional games expand, right? And I think it's also been helpful that none of us who are doing the growth strategy in the early days, we don't really have a traditional marketing experience or traditional gaming experience. I think a lot of the lessons that I learned that were helpful for Axie were being president of my fraternity in college, right? It's like, okay, you can't do paid ads for a fraternity, right? It needs to be organic. You need to rely on, like word of mouth referrals, like community building. You need to create an amazing culture and community that's going to naturally attract the right people. So I think that's really how we thought about Axie from the early days, right? Is like, okay, right? And I think there are master community builders from Web 2 that kind of also have like shined the light forward, like, right? People like Gary Vee and Alexis, right? They talk about, right, becoming friends with your users, writing them like handwritten notes, right? Just community building, right? Communities, right? I don't know, there are maybe like 20 plus classifications of distribution channels. And so I started doing some research, and I realized that, right, Axie works because we have this incredibly strong community, and they amplify all other channels, right? They're making content, they're amplifying tweets, they're telling their friends and family. So I strongly believe that, especially in Web3, right, community is the beginning and the end in terms of distribution. So I think that's been our principle. Of course, I think things will get a little bit more complex. And right, there may be other channels that open up, and I think that's going to be a good thing, right? Like, I think the holy grail of Web3 distribution is, right, can you do interesting, scalable paid experiments, if that makes sense, right? And I think the path forward on that is not totally clear, but I think it will become clear. And I think yeah, we're poised to kind of really innovate in that direction. We have just added some team members that are from the traditional gaming space that were kind of NFT people at night, moonlighting as NFT people that were working in traditional games. And so I think we're going to see more of a hybrid approach going forward, where, right, you can do some paid experiments, but yeah, I think also, right, like, we just have this culture of experimentation where we're looking to refine on a day-to-day basis. We talk to our users, and yeah, I think we have this culture where, right, like, we're building something that's never been built before, so we have to try strategies that have never been tried before, if that makes sense. I think that, right, that it was not even knowing what to do in the beginning. I think that was a good advantage for us, because we kind of came in with a blank slate and just tried to figure out what the playbook was.